What's up? It's AK Babyface. Subscribe to supporting icons for the latest boxing news.
So when I finished uploading the last video with Manuel Char claiming that he's in deep conversations with Team Joshua about replacing Big Baby Jarrell Miller after he tested positive for a banned substance from VADA. And Manuel Char said that he's in deep conversation. So after I uploaded that one, I've seen that Eddie Hearn had a sit-down interview with King Kong Luis on IFL TV from this morning, or today even. So I'll give that a watch, and within this one, he confirmed that Manuel Char is one of the possibilities amongst many, okay? So I think that Manuel Char might be reaching a little bit. But within this interview, and I shall put it in the description box for those of you who haven't seen it, and for those who want to know specifically about the subject of my particular video now, as to what it is I'm talking about. When Eddie Hearn spoke to Anthony Joshua and said about Miller failing the test, Anthony Joshua's first name out of his mouth to replace Miller was Luis Ortiz. Okay, now, if you guys cast your minds back when Joshua was trying to find an opponent, okay, at this time it wasn't confirmed it's going to be Madison Square Garden or June the 1st. It was still going to be April 13th at Wembley Stadium, okay? They were talking about Wilder, Fury, Miller, White, and even Luis Ortiz. Okay, Luis Ortiz didn't say a word, not a peep, when Anthony Joshua quite blatantly mentioned his name on more than one occasion. Luis Ortiz didn't say anything. Joshua then signs to fight Miller. Luis Ortiz comes out and says that he's always going to be ready to fight Joshua anytime, no problem. You let me know. If this fight falls apart with Miller, I'll happily step in. Listen, he came out with a statement a little bit too late, in my opinion. But either way, he's saying, I'm available. If something happens with the Miller fight and Miller pulls out or whatever happens, I'll step in, no problem. So, Luis Ortiz had the perfect opportunity right now, okay? If Miller fails the B-sample, which is what I said in the very first video from today, if he fails the B-sample, then he needs to be replaced. Joshua wants Luis Ortiz. Eddie Hearn contacted the team of Luis Ortiz, Jay Jimenez, I'm presuming it's Jay Jimenez, or another member of the team of Luis Ortiz. And they said 7 weeks is not enough time to prepare. Now, they are right from one point of view, okay, because 7 weeks isn't a long time to prepare. But Ortiz did say, any time, I will step in, it's not a problem. Clearly that was tongue-in-cheek and he wasn't serious, okay? A lot of people would love that kind of fight, especially the Wilder fans who are just put Luis Ortiz on some kind of pedestal. Why? Because Wilder beat him, okay? So he's the standard as far as they're concerned, which is absolutely outrageous. Now, for him to say that 7 weeks isn't long enough, as I said, it's absolutely correct. It's not long enough, especially for a top fight like that, okay? But I don't know the time difference between Cuba and America, if he indeed lives in Cuba. In fact, I'm under the impression he lives in Florida. Don't quite know why I think that, but I'm pretty sure it's in Florida. So it's still in America, right? So the time difference, it's not like he has to train for a bit, break camp, then travel, get used to the time difference and all that kind of thing, and then go fight Joshua. Not at all. Because if it was a Brit or a European, for example, like a Dillian Whyte, a Joe Joyce, or a Povetkin, for example, yes, the time difference with only 7 weeks' notice is not good enough. In fact, you're going to be at a real disadvantage if you're not already in camp. Joshua is already in camp, but he's been preparing for Miller. So if Luis Ortiz is within the time difference of New York or thereabouts, whether he's in Florida, then he has no excuse to say 7 weeks is not long enough, because it's not like he has to break camp. He doesn't have to, okay? He can just start camp right now, doesn't have to worry about the time difference or anything like that, and he can just get straight into the fight. 7 weeks is more than enough time. If it was Joe Joyce, if he was offered it, say, no, not really. But even then, Joe Joyce, he trains at Big Bear. So again, he couldn't really say that. Dillian Whyte could say that. Dave Allen could say that. Tyson Fury could say that. And plenty of other Europeans could say that because of time difference. Because they are going to have to do a couple of weeks here in the UK or in Germany or wherever it is that they are. They're then going to have to break camp and spend the next few days traveling and then getting used to the time difference. So I can understand that point because it does break the camp. But when it comes to Luis Ortiz and Anthony Joshua, there's only one person who's at a disadvantage in this one. and that's Joshua. Because he's going to have to break camp anyway, which of course he was always going to do, but he's been preparing for a orthodox Miller. Luis Ortiz is a completely different fighter. He's not orthodox, he's southpaw. For those who are new to boxing, southpaw means you're heavy-handed with the left hand, okay? So Joshua is at the disadvantage here. Luis Ortiz, being left-handed, being southpaw, is always fighting right-handed orthodox fighters. So it's no real adjustment for him. Joshua's going to have to totally switch his entire camp and bring in southpaws. Joshua doesn't really fight southpaws. Outside of Charles Martin, I can't think of another one. So Luis Ortiz has no grounds to say no unless he's ducking. That's the honest truth of it. That's how I see it. And especially as Luis Ortiz said, I'll step in, no problem. Sounds like hot air, mate. It sounds like you didn't really want the fight, much like you didn't really want the fight when you were the WBA mandatory. You didn't really want the fight. Because you had the opportunity, wait for Joshua to defeat Pulev at the time, which then was changed to Takam after Pulev got injured. But then you were next. You wasn't willing to wait until you were next. You wanted Wilder. Unfortunately, he failed the PD test for not putting on the high blood pressure medication, but still. So do you really want the Joshua fight? If you do, it's there. And I'm pretty sure that Luis Ortiz will probably get the same kind of deal as Miller. Maybe a bit more. Who knows? Miller is getting $7 million, so we're hearing. $7 million. That's $3 million more than what Dillian Whyte was offered. So Luis Ortiz can get a $7 million payday, right? But he's a PBC fighter. When you're a PBC fighter, for some reason, you tend to lose a lot of your balls. You lose a bit of a backbone about stepping up. Here's your opportunity. You're not going to get a better opportunity than this. So take the fight. 7 weeks is ample time when you are already within that time difference. No excuses. As I said, Joshua is the one at the disadvantage because he's been training for an orthodox Miller, not a southpaw Luis Ortiz. Drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, and of course subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.